fact that Lewis Hamilton is in line for a new deal, or in other terms, to extend his contract at Mercedes, do I think that will change the relationship between himself and Nico Rosberg? I don't think so, to be honest with you. I think since Monaco this year, I think the relationship hasn't been rosy, to be honest with you. But no, even if Lewis and Nico were to have issues, that both of them are man enough to own up, to deal with the issues themselves and sort it out between themselves. So the fact that Lewis is in line for a new deal at the team, I don't think changes much at the team. But I think what it does do is bring continuity to the team. It's not like you're changing your drivers year in year out like Caterham have done. So the fact that Lewis and Nico look set to be at Mercedes for next season, if not at least into 2016, I think great for the team, and I think it just goes to show that with continuity you can get success. So I mean, you look at Red Bull. Yes, Sebastian Vettel was totally dominant over Mark Webber, but it was a team effort, and Mark played his part as well. Continuity does help, and I think that Lewis and Nico, knowing that they'll be at Mercedes hopefully for the next couple of years at least, I think it's great for the team. Well, as far as I'm aware, Michael Schumacher could potentially be returning home by the end of this month, which I think is absolutely fantastic news. Recovery, of course, is going to take time, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long time, but we're all behind Michael Schumacher, and we'd love to see him back in the paddock, and yeah, just really wish he makes a speedy recovery. I know it appears that he's been making, or I've heard that he's been communicating with his family through eyelid contact. So that's a positive sign, and at least now there are signs that Michael is now able to communicate with his family, which is great news. So that's, for me, that's what I'm aware of in terms of the latest situation with Michael Schumacher, and I know that family have been grateful for the amount of support, the messages that have been sent in to help wish Michael a speedy recovery. So Michael, we're all behind you. My thoughts on Mexico being back on the Formula 1 calendar for 2015, Matthew, I think it's fantastic news. Another race in North America. Obviously we've got one in the US, we'll have one in Canada, and now we'll have one in Mexico. And I know that Sergio Perez and Esteban Gutierrez are very happy. Whether they'll be racing at Mexico next year, only time will tell. But no, I think it's great that Mexico is back on the calendar, and going to a new country. There's always that buzz about going to a new circuit, and I mean, at times it hasn't worked. Going to a new circuit, going to Korea, unfortunately, didn't work out. Well, I totally understand where you're coming from, and you make a valid point. But what happened in Germany, you can't blame Felipe. Through no fault of his own. Unfortunately, it was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And Kevin Magnussen, he saw that gap on the right, but when the door slammed shut and had nowhere to go, unfortunately, went straight into Felipe. So you can't really blame Felipe Massa, and Felipe's just having one of those phases again where things are just not working out for him in the race. And you look at what happened in Canada, him and Perez collided. Austria, with a better strategy, Felipe could have won that race, I feel. So Felipe's just having one of those frustrating spells, but I believe Felipe will get back to his best, and I'm sure we'll see him on the podium. Williams, the way things are going and the way Williams are improving this season, I think Felipe will get onto the podium, and it'd be great to see him back on the podium. So yeah, as for what happened in Germany, you can't blame Felipe for what happened, and rightly so by the stewards. It was a racing incident. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that the safety car wasn't brought out when Adrian Sutil Sauber was stranded on the start finish straight. You know, you think about safety, and safety is the most paramount thing in Formula One. And you know, someone's so easily could have been killed. Had you brought the safety car out, cars were about to slow down, and then the marshals could have, without rushing onto the racetrack, they could have just gone on there and then just pushed the car out. And potentially a situation that could have occurred was one of the cars approaching the Sauber could so easily have hit the Sauber. So, why the safety car wasn't brought out, I do find ridiculous, and the FIA need to look at themselves and just think about that situation could have been made a whole lot worse if an oncoming car just hit the stranded Sauber. So, like I said, poor decision by the FIA not to bring out the safety car, and it could have been potentially could have had serious consequences. So that's the end of this week's Ask Manish.